Right, a warm welcome from Geneva, Switzerland. Yes, there we go. We're just a few seconds away from starting with this, our first Leaders and Partners meeting of 2025. So together with the rest of the team, you'll be hearing from Julia and Charlotte today as well. We're looking forward to continuing and deepening the collaboration with you. We're really excited because we're sharing these new activities. The first one called PFA Connect with you today to get, again, your feedback as always. So we actually do not have a slide deck for today's session. Instead, we're going to take you through a number of steps. So first of all, we're going to really to update you and give you the very latest on these new activities. So first, I'll be sharing an overview of PFA Connect, showing you the new landing page, explaining who is this for and how you can bring colleagues in. We'll also open up for questions, of course. Then we'll walk you through how to share your experience for PFA Connect. So there is something that you can do very concretely before PFA Connect on the first session will be on the 29th of January. And then we do have 5 specific actions that we'll be asking you to, inviting you to do today. The first one will be to ask you to, of course, register for PFA Connect if you haven't already. Second will be to ask you to share a question, share a challenge that you face, something, and we'll show you exactly how to do that. Then we'll show you the brand new PFA Connect platform. We're using something called Zoom Events. After that, we'll be asking you, of course, if you haven't already, to register for PFA Connect, to share the invitation with your colleagues. That's really a critical step, as we really want to, we know there's so many professionals who are supporting Ukrainian children, and the more professionals are involved, the more likely it is that whatever problem or challenge you're facing, you'll be able to find a solution, and the more likely it is that your experience will be helpful to someone else in the network as well. And then we'll finish, and again, I'm aiming to do all of this in 30 minutes, because at the half-hour mark, that is when we'll be switching to Ukrainian, and Julia will be repeating the session, but entirely in Ukrainian. Julia, how are you doing and feeling today? Anything you'd like to say in English and then in Ukrainian, perhaps, just in case there is someone who will warm up upon hearing their own language?
There's still absolutely no one among our participants who is speaking Ukrainian. I'm keeping an eye on that. See the familiar faces, well, not faces, but familiar names in 2025. Welcome.
All right, wonderful. I'm trying to get you onto the camera here. Let me just, here we go. Oh, okay, and you turned off your own camera. All right, let's go back here. So let's get started then. So I'm going to first show you the brand new landing page, and I invite you to go to this page. I'm going to share the and for anyone who is there, so there were a few people who were joining for the first time, the Leaders and Partners. We'll share with you the recording of previous Leaders and Partners sessions, so you can really take in what Leaders and Partners are about. Today we're focusing on PFA Connect. So if you haven't been to this page, I'd invite you to follow along with me. And what you'll see on this page is, first of all, is that there's more than 2,000 professionals. So education, but also social work, and then health. Not only mental health professionals who support Ukrainian children all over Europe, primarily in Ukrainian, which is why in many ways Julia's session is more important than mine, but we do strive to offer all activities in both English and Ukrainian. So one thing is, most of you applied for the peer learning exercise. You know that was a very complex application with more than 60 questions, I believe. This is a one-click registration, so it really is as simple as doing what I'm doing here now. I'm putting in my name and my email. Of course, you'll put in yours, just so there's no confusion there. And that is step one. But before we look at what happens there, let's look at a little bit about what's on the page. If you're not scanning it yourself on your own computer or device. So who is this for? So this is really for busy professionals who have very little time, but who have challenges. And if you don't have any challenges, then probably, yes, then there is actually another reason to join, is that your colleagues all over Europe, many of them are facing challenges. And if you're doing just fine, then maybe you'd like to help them. So that's just really who it's for. Now, in terms of who participates, as I said, over 2,000 professionals have already connected through this program. It's education, social work, mental health, other healthcare, and then, of course, Red Cross staff and volunteers. So how does it work? There is a frequently asked question, so I invite you to take some time to work through that. But it's a 3-step process. And again, we've worked really hard. We know many of you who did the peer learning exercise, quite a complex sequence of activities in order to get to the finish line. Here we have something that has 3 steps. So there is before the actual event. You can see that the next one is on January 29th, in a little bit less than 7 days. First of all, you register for the next upcoming session. So it takes just one click, and then you ask a question or share a challenge, and then invite colleagues to join. After that, on the day of the event, at the time of the event, you meet in small groups, and that is where you're going to see that there's an agenda that's been composed by the contributions made by the community. So you'll be discussing not theory, but real-world questions and challenges, and then we'll be inviting you to share practical solutions, tools, and practices. Now, we schedule the sessions to be 30 minutes with an option to extend, to go longer if the discussion is worth staying for. We know your time is the most precious resource, so this is how we do it. We say, well, come for 30 minutes, and then if you decide that it's worth more of your time, then we will stay so that you can continue the session. Now, what happens in step 3 is critical. It's that, first of all, you will receive everything that you give, everything that everyone contributes, you will be getting back. That's our commitment to you, and you'll be getting it back in a format that makes it easy to digest. So it's a 1-hour discussion. There will be multiple breakout groups, but there will be a single 1 or 2 page document that summarizes the key learning points, outcomes for everyone who attended. So that even if you went to one breaking group, but then you wish you knew what was happening in the other, you can get those outputs. So here are, again, a more visual representation of the practical steps, but again, it's about experience sharing, it's about peer learning, and here is the key. This only works if you and others share experience. Now, this can be many different things. So this can be a specific situation or challenge that you face, a success story or a lesson learned, a tool or resource, a specific topic, an upcoming event. And if you are new to PFA for children, ask a question about PFA for children. So where it all starts is by clicking on this button on the landing page, but I'm going to show you what happens next. Now, I think if you're here in the Leaders and Partners Forum, you've already answered this question, like what's the value for you? What do you get from sharing? But you can see you can also point your colleagues to the landing page. Now, there's a little bit of background information. We really want to reach professionals who know nothing about PFA. So as leaders in this PFA for Children community, we look to you to really talk to your colleagues and say, well, if you know nothing about PFA, this can help you in your practice whenever you're confronted with a child or an adult, actually, but there's specificities to supporting children. That is at that moment of crisis. The first aid to help with their mental state. Next, we have the same commitments and code of conduct as for the peer learning exercise, and then I mentioned the frequently asked questions, and then the background information. So that is the first item on the agenda. I just want to mark a pause here just to make sure that everyone's okay and to ask if there are any questions. We'll all allow you to talk. You are amongst friends, and we know each other. Many of you have attended several of the Leaders and Partners sessions, so we appreciate that commitment. We're now in 2025 going to move very fast to get to the point where we are where we are really expanding the network and giving back value for everyone. So are there any questions or comments at this point? Okay, I will, and this is fine. This is intended more as a briefing today. I'm going to show you the next steps. So first of all, before we go any further, could I ask you to type yes once you have to confirm that
Mohammed.
Yes. Okay, Mohammed.
I was saying Mohammed. Yeah.
Yes,
thanks,
thank you
Charlotte.
so much, Reza, for that. I just have one question regarding the PFA Connect sessions. How frequently are they?
That will depend on the community. Right now, we have the first two scheduled, January 29th, and then the 2 weeks later. We've moved from that Friday schedule for leaders and partners. We figured that late afternoon Friday may not be ideal for everyone, to midweek. And so that's right now we're thinking every other week. But of course, you do not need to attend everyone.
Okay.
But will be, yeah. Does that seem like too much or too little to you?
No, that's perfect, because my second question was about the Friday, because the timing is not, as you said, is not really perfect for everyone. So thank you for that.
Yeah, so we've identified that Wednesday 4 p.m. Geneva, 5 p.m. Kiev as a good time. We know some people who actually liked the Friday time, and then we'll be having occasional sessions. We haven't, again, the frequency will depend on how much interest, how many questions. We'll be getting into the specifics of that right now, actually. So can I get a yes in the chat to confirm that you have actually? Let me see if I can actually show this. Yeah. Show. Could you type yes in the chat if you've actually registered for PFA Connect? Or if you're not intending to register, type no. That means. So please, right now I'm the only one who has typed my own answer. Okay, thanks, Charlotte. All right. Okay, thank you, Mohammed. So you can do that right now. Yes, and this is why these sessions is intended to be very practical. We also have the same in Ukrainian for anyone who'd prefer to register for the Ukrainian session. Okay, thank you, Milija. All right, so let's get into the practical aspects. So when you register, you'll find two messages in your inbox. If you don't see these messages, check your spam and make sure that you mark our messages as not spam and safe sender if you use Outlook. So you can see two messages. Why two messages? One is the very basic instruction to register. Okay, so when I click on register now, okay, I see. All right, there's a pop-up. It's going to open up another window, and that is going to take me to the events platform. So I think most things happen on this side, so I'm going to move myself over, and let me spotlight myself again. Okay, so you have two options right now. Let me just switch to English. So you can register with a Zoom account, or you can register with email. I recommend registering with a Zoom account because that will enable many more networking features. And just, Yulia, as Ukrainian speakers come in, if you could send them a chat message if you aren't doing that already, just so they don't get confused. We'll be starting the Ukrainian session at the half-hour mark. So here, you want to register with a Zoom account, but I'm going to show you the registration by email. So with that same... So yes, you've already gone through the landing page, so it's a two-step process. From here, you've done one-click registration. I guess maybe that's a bit of a white lie, let's say. And then you have a Zoom Events verification code that comes. And here you have the verification code that you're looking for. So you go back to PFA Connect, enter the code, and verify email. If you use your Zoom account, if you have a Zoom account, then that makes it very easy. Here's a critical point. You choose the ticket between English and Ukrainian. Do not get this wrong, because if you do not speak Ukrainian, but you select Ukrainian, you'll receive everything in Ukrainian. All of the information we'll be sending you will be in Ukrainian. We do ask for this information, so this may seem a little bit repetitive because we do ask this for the same information in a number of places. So I'm going to fill in for my organization. We're a non-governmental organization, education. We actually don't have staff who provide who directly provides support, and then you can confirm registration. So, and basically then you are in, your registration is complete. What I recommend is you add to calendar. All right, and then let me just see if I can demonstrate this with the Outlook calendar. Yeah, and then you can add it to your calendar, make sure you get reminders and so on. Now, at the time of the event, this is Zoom, but it's Zoom events. So what is different is that it has some additional features specifically to help you really network and learn in ways that you cannot do using the conventional Zoom sessions. So it takes a little bit of getting used to. You can see there's already 123 people who've signed up here, and you can see who they are by going through the list here. You can also chat with fellow participants. And if you register with your Zoom account, you'll see that there are some additional benefits, and I'll show you what those are. If you look at people, you'll see right now only 2 people have done so, but you can see that you can actually get more information about who they are, where they are. Now, you can also choose not to share and maintain really confidentiality. We know some people will legitimately choose to do that. But as you can see here, to connect with other users, it says log in with a Zoom account and create a Zoom events profile. So you can do the guest registration. I'm doing that to make it quick, but you'll need to, we recommend using the Zoom registration to get the full benefits. From the lobby, there's one last thing that is super important. You go to the sessions, and here is the critical part for us to know that you're actually going to be attending. Once you're in, you need to reserve a spot, okay? If you don't reserve a spot, you won't be able to join the session. So make sure whatever you do when you're in Zoom events, and this is an extra step, so it can seem like a hassle, but it's actually really important. We want to maintain sort of high quality small group discussions. So just reserve a spot and do it early. And you can see once my spot is reserved, and it says spot reserved. So I hope that's clear. There'll be some additional information soon. So for example, we'll have for partners, right now we've just listed IFRC, but we'll be inviting organizations that are participating in the program to be partners, to be featured on this page, so it can give some organizations some visibility. Right now, of course, we just have IFRC, but we'll be adding others soon. So those are the main key points. So if you haven't yet registered, we recommend using Zoom registration. And then let me see, the next and final action. So then the next action, and keeping an eye on the clock, because we do have the Ukrainian session starting very soon. Remember there are 2 messages, which are in the focused. And the other one is prepare for PFA Connect. And it says, do this now, 10 minutes. So here, let me see if I can make this bigger. Yeah. So this is a critical piece of PFA Connect. Remember I said there's something you could do before PFA Connect, before the event. And so here it is. You can share you're invited to share your experience. Now you can just show up and there will be other people who share their experiences, and that's fine. But here's what you can do to become what we call a contributor, is to contribute in some tangible way, and then that will help shape the agenda for PFA Connect. So here you have a tool or resource. Is there a specific topic you'd like to discuss? Is there a specific situation or challenge that you'd like help with? Do you have a success story or lesson learned? Now, this is not a questionnaire. You don't need to answer all of these. Just if one of these is actually the reason, like you have a challenge or there is something you'd like to share, then use this. So for example, if the specific topic here, I click on, I have a specific topic that I'd like to suggest. So it says, here is basically the sort of more detailed questions. Is there a specific topic you'd like to discuss? Share a topic that is relevant to your situation. So I'd like to discuss PFA for children under 3. Yes. And I can be as short as that, or I can write a whole story, because this does ask me, how would you like colleagues to help you, and explain why this matters to you? Yes. So PFA is, so why matters to me? matters because I deal with children in that age group. Yes, there are specific challenges. Whatever it is that's on your mind. Typos are fine if you're in a hurry. And then colleagues may have more experience than me. Whatever you want to say, then you go on. There are a few more questions we ask you to summarize in the short headline in one sentence. Just, some people will write a lot, so we just need the sort of the summary. And that is how you make a submission. And again, it's the same form, but the question changes. So if I say, well, I have a success story, I have some good news that I'd like to share with my colleagues. So here you can see there's more questions. These are guiding questions. You're not intended to answer them all. And I know many of you amongst the leaders and partners are very diligent. So you may be tempted to, but think about what will actually help your colleagues, help you in return. So that is the critical piece of PFA Connect. Is a second email titled, let me see, prepare for PFA Connect. Go to that email, and that is the one that will, again, going back to this 3-step process, register for the next session is really sub-step 2, ask a question or share a challenge. And you can see you can also share tools, upcoming events, whatever you may want. We'll also be, as I said, featuring organizations with everyone. So I've been speaking for a little bit. I want to mark a pause again, just to ask if there are any questions about this PFA Connect. The last part, before I hand over to Yulia for the Ukrainian language version of this briefing, will be to share with you to show you the terms of reference for the focal points of organizations that will be inviting leaders to become focal points for their organizations, with or without the formal support of their organizations. But first, are there any further questions about PFA Connect? Yes, Elena, please.
Hi. So I registered a few weeks ago, I think, and I don't know how to reserve a spot because I didn't do that. So I don't know where to click to reserve it.
Okay, so you need to go back to the platform. Let me give you the link. Let me see. Yeah, here. So I think there is a shorter link. Let me see if I can find the shorter link. Otherwise, it's a very long one. And then, yeah. So you should have received an invitation email, PFA Connect platform, and it's really by finding that email that you'll find the instructions. What I usually do is I'll go back here. So I have the instructions here, and then I go back to that register now, and we'll be sending out a reminder. Yes, 1 week, 24 hours before now, for those sessions. Thanks. Is there anything else? All right. Okay, wonderful. So before I show you the terms of reference, we do have the next practical activity. And that is really, I see Charlotte has already shared the, and that is, as you know, with peer learning, the more we are, the merrier and the more productive. So the more people share experiences, the more likely someone is likely to find the solution. And also what you contribute, if you become a contributor, is likely to actually be helpful to someone else. So indeed, I would like to do a practical activity now. So I'm going to show you, let me see if I can show you the actual, how this actually works. So you see 2 links. If you use Telegram, let me see if I can do this here. Yep, you click here, and you will be asked if you want to allow this website to open Telegram app. I'm not going to do it here, but this will share a short message that is really an invitation share with colleagues, and don't just invite anybody, invite trusted colleagues, trusted networks, simply by clicking on the share button. We'll also be providing other options if for organizations that want to put it in their newsletters or on their website, but we think the most personal way is for you as a practitioner, and also demonstrate the WhatsApp option here. So you can see here, if I click on continue to chat, that will open up the WhatsApp app on my device, and will then share this directly with whoever I choose to share with, or post it on my status. I think it's a little bit long for the for the status. So that is the key step. Could I ask you? You have the links in the chat now. Could I ask you to actually go to the chat? And rather than just watch me do it, if you could share with at least one colleague or one network that you have via either Telegram or WhatsApp, and then type done once you are finished. And that is really the most important step, because right now we're seeing significant participation of very committed practitioners, but we need to reach more practitioners so that they too can benefit from this peer learning. So please type yes or done once you are done sharing. So last thing before we go for today will be the, let me see if I can queue up the organizational focal point terms of reference, and I'll show you that on screen in a second. So please share the invitation to PFA Connect now with at least one colleague, at least one of your networks. It can be a WhatsApp or Telegram group, whatever is going to work for you. And then I do want to show you, before we switch over to the Ukrainian version of this briefing, the let me see here. The terms of reference for the organizational focal points. So here. So we'll be sharing this with you for feedback, but very quickly sharing with you the application. So it's relatively few questions compared to the application for the peer learning exercise. So this is a really flexible, voluntary way to help your colleagues to access useful resources, learning opportunities about supporting children. And we hope that you can do this even during challenging circumstances. So basically 5 things that as a PFA peer learning focal point we'll be asking you to do. One is to share information about PFA Connect and other activities with colleagues when you can. Then connect colleagues, like in your organization, that you be the go-to person. Thank you, Zia, for confirming that you've shared on either WhatsApp or Telegram, so that you be the go-to person in your organization. If we get somebody else from your organization who contacts us, we can say, well, if Zia becomes a focal point, we can say, well, you can get in touch with Zia. She knows about this program, and you can trust a focal point to give you reliable information. Now, we know it also means participate only when you have time and capacity. There's no pressure. There's no mandatory meetings or requirements. We have the same shared commitments as we have throughout the program. And then we'll be giving you regular updates about new opportunities, be giving you ready to share announcements in Ukrainian and English that you can share through inside your organization and through these networks. Communication toolkits that work even if you do not have stable internet. And then, of course, I think this is actually one of the key sort of value that you can get from becoming a focal point, is really connecting with other practitioners who are exceptional, as we expect the focal points to be, so really dedicated and willing to help others in this way. So there's simple ways to help. You can see 5 of them here. Basically, sharing the information and then encouraging colleagues to participate. And then there's a number of additional optional activities if you have time, such as including the Leaders and Partners meetings, helping your organization become an official partner, helping colleagues access activities, becoming a facilitator, guide, or mentor. So it overlaps with a leadership circle in many ways. We're working out the terms of reference for the leadership circle as well. So we think these are some of the benefits that you can see here. So first of all, we will be officially recognizing you as a focal point for the Geneva Learning Foundation's program. There'll be certification of your contribution when you contribute to program activities. You'll be the first to access new resources, new insights, guaranteed priority access to joint activities, and then, of course, that connection to other practitioners. One clarification, I think that is quite important, is just to say that even though this program is developed with the IFRC, so the International Federation of the Red Cross, your role as focal point is only with the Geneva Learning Foundation. Does not create any relationship with the IFRC. So I think I'm on time, Yulia. Before handing it over to you, I just want to thank English speakers. Now we actually have a much larger community that is Ukrainian speakers, but we desperately need, in particular, those who are bilingual or those who speak that English language that so many people are able to use to communicate. So we hope that that you'll actually help us grow this community, because we know that there are many people who speak English, who don't speak Ukrainian, who could benefit from this program. Once again, thank you very much. And Yulia, over to you.